Stanotte venite da me.
The piece is called Notturnino, and it's called that because the name is mentioned in the film that is at the basis of the piece. The film is called Il bacio di Tosca, Tosca's Kiss in English. And it's a documentary about Casa Verdi, which is a home for elderly musicians, and Giuseppe Verdi founded it at the end of his career. The idea was to use the soundtrack of the Il Bacio di Tosca, of that documentary, because it's very rich in those old people talking about their career, but they're also chattering about daily life, but they're also singing, like reenacting scenes.
We have the sound score that is taken from the documentary that provides us with an atmosphere and a feeling. It has both the sounds of the opera arias, of the old women singing them both now and in their heyday, has the people chatting to each other, walking down the corridor, gives a particular atmosphere. Thomas Hauert was a very specific choice. We were very excited about how he works, his process. So the fact that he comes in with movement tasks and particular games to play, and he structures this very tightly, but that ultimately in the end, on stage, on the night, the dancers are having to make decisions in the moment.
I guess it's a piece of not improvisation. We do a lot of a lot of tasks that are very specifically set around a very specific set musical score. But each time we do those tasks, they're new every night. It's really exciting to be doing that. It's a lot of connecting with the rest of the company.
It really gives us the chance to connect as a group on stage in the moment. And what it requires is for us to access a specific state. And it's a state of total alertness and of total presence.
This kind of attention to each other and responding on each other and making connections to each other all the time creates kind of a unity that is very dear to me. That is also kind of in a sense, kind of another reflection of maybe more of a utopia.
Thomas also talked about how this Tosca's Kiss film looks at fragility and coming to the end of life, and how aging is what ultimately makes us all aware of our body and how our body changes, and that to a certain extent disables our body from what we used to do before, what we were able to do before.
We talked about disability and also how it can affect everybody, anybody, anytime, and how often you don't think about that, but actually it's like an everyday issue. And this also brought up, okay, what is then disability? What is it at all? What does it mean? And what does it mean for us doing this piece? And how do we want to approach it? You look at it and you see, okay, well, I have one leg, or maybe 3 legs with my 2 crutches. So what can I do? What can I do with 1 leg or with 2 crutches or with 3 legs? That was actually a very interesting process in this piece with Thomas, because he really was fascinated about what the mechanics of crutches can bring into dance and can bring into movement. And there is a section in the piece where we all dance with crutches. And it's just this beauty of, limb extensions, and suddenly you have so long arms and you can push into the floor and you can jump even a second and be a second longer in the air, and this is just brings a new aesthetic into dance. There is one part in the piece where I'm balancing on my one foot, and actually it's pretty challenging. All the people are lying around me with doing an exercise with their hands and feet, and so I can use them as a support. For me, body-wise, it was challenging, and I loved it. I love to be challenged body-wise.
The costumes are inspired by the film, so there's lots of old opera costumes in the film, as well as ordinary clothes. So it actually has both. They come on in ordinary, more sort of pyjama-like, playful clothes, and then eventually they add more layers of these beautiful dresses, beautiful big coats and trousers.
For me, the costumes symbolize that, like, all the identities we have, and we put on and put off.
That microcosm that is the opera world, and then even more microcosm in the microcosm that is that home for elderly musicians and opera singers in Milan, that for me has the potential of kind of reflecting the bigger world.
I would like the audience to be touched, to be moved, to be engaged, to be inspired. I hope that they will allow themselves to just absorb what comes at them and then notice how it makes them feel. That they can make their own meaning from it, they can make their own journey through it, but I hope they get a personal experience from it. Of course, I want Candoco to inspire people to want to dance themselves. I want to inspire the next generation of dancers. I want to inspire the next generation of choreographers to look at the dancers we have in the company and think, that's exciting. They are exciting people and dancers to work with.